Well, come on to say that got the last couple videos uploaded and up for today. I'd say I've been talking with my little counselor this afternoon and finding out little things about how this has worked along. Told him I've been working on these nativities. He kind of even makes mention about how it really is just getting closer to that time of year again, and there's been little things on these where I've probably had little lines to draw and hadn't put them in yet, but oh, the work that comes along with this, I say it's going to make it to where we just see little bright lights coming on. Oh, and all the things. I don't know what this year's going to bring, and I could only pray for times when I could enjoy just a good little break from work without getting sick. That would be nice. And I'd say about in another week, I have my fall break. So that's how that's going to really come and go just along the way. And then I tell y'all that with the little work we do, I've come along to where I sort of draw these little lines on these things to kind of trace away, make it so it's going to brighten lights, brighten days, brighten nights, make us all just see little happy places and where we go and stuff. And I tell y'all, in these little chips, they're getting everywhere, but I'm going to get them up sooner or later, get rid of all this freaking mess, and kind of try to take care of little lights, little days, little nights, all the things in life that we kind of come to need as far as what we see and what we do and what we think. And I'll tell y'all that it'd be nice to get a little more of these out to people, out in places, and I'd say it's going to be wonderful just to show a little bit in this world to who we are and what we do. I tell y'all that fine little nativities are just making their way up, and oh, I tell y'all, finally got the knives sharpened up this morning, or it might have been yesterday morning, whenever it was, whenever it needed to be. So I finally got it all just taken care of the best way I could, best way I knew how, and all the things to make life a little greater and better for us. I say that this is just the kind of work that we need to do to kind of make us all see a little happy days, happy nights, little blazing things. Oh, I tell y'all that it comes time where all this little shaven scrap comes everywhere and gets all around the mess, and I'd say time we kind of get little nativities together to see that Jesus is the light of the world. I think about all that old Carmen song goes, Jesus is the light, Jesus is the light, Jesus is the light of the world, Jesus is the light, Jesus is the light, Jesus is the light of the world, calling all saints, calling all sinners, calling every boy and girl. I'm telling you tonight, it's tight but it's right, Jesus is the light of the world. Oh, and I say, there's of course came the time when he passed away, went on to heaven and went away from us. I say it's going to be one of those days when we don't really see what happens. I tell you all, the Bible says no eye has seen, no ear has heard, no mind has conceived what God has prepared for those who loved him. And of course, while we are on the earth, we haven't seen it all yet, but there comes a time when we will be there. We will see it for ourselves. There was some little question about heaven. I was asking my grandmother as a kid, after my grandfather had already passed away and gone there. And I don't remember what the question was, but she said, you know, that we don't know. That we won't find out till we get there. So there's a lot of things about it. Like to say, even as a kid, you know, when I learned in Sunday school that high above the sky is heaven, my mom was teaching the class, and I'd tell her little things like I was afraid when we got there that the clouds were going to be too thin, and while we were standing on the clouds, we were going to fall through them onto the earth. She said, I don't think that'll happen. And I'd say, you know, God's already gotten it built in such a way that we wouldn't have to worry about that for sure. As for a little time, just get out my coffee and water here. In all the ways these days, it's like I get to work in a little bit of a better environment than I used to. Enjoy it so much better, you know, and think about all the things, you know. It's like, even on this job where I work now, I'd say probably a good thing there's not a coffee pot in the back of the kitchen where, you know, we can be trying to get me or anything, because that would be the kind of thing where I'd get it for myself all the time, working in there, and see how, with all the little ways we had of doing those things, it was like coming on and singing the song. I'd say that there'd be the little times when I'd pour out a coffee cup and pour out a cup of water, because probably needed both to do all the tasks I was doing in there, and had this little manager come in and come sometimes there tell me, oh, you know, like, I don't want you getting them if you're not going to throw your cups away. Cups would be an easy thing to forget sometimes, and it's not so much a thing where I work now, because we don't leave them laying out there like we did at our other place, and so it just gets a little stranger how we do what we do. And I'd say that this is just the kind of work where, especially when you go to carving something, sometimes you kind of need a little hot coffee and cold water to kind of keep you caffeinated and hydrated. And I say that this is just kind of the little work it does where we sort of make little light shine in us, and oh, a little brighter days, I say. Oh, brighter evenings, you know. Oh, little light shall shine, make us all see what we're going to see every day, every night that we come into the presence of God, into His house, and see how beautiful the sky is, how beautiful the world is, and oh, the things. Sometimes, you know, there's times we gotta learn to read little cues and learn when people have jobs to do. Kind of the little thing I've had to do in life. That kind of gets to be a reason why I get away from places sometimes, just to try to carve my work out, and, you know, just to do little things I need to do, like exercise a bit and work the way I need to, because this is just one of those things where, you know, we come into little situations in life where we don't always see the things that we know and understand, but I say this is a good God and a righteous King who rules over everything and makes us all just what's just such happy people in life. You know, there's been little things where I've heard a lot of jokes, a lot of things I say people have joked with me about. Sometimes just the little things can be little joking things in the workplace. I'm not really that much of a joking around type of person. I'm always just more serious by nature. I just have my little old serious ways, and there are times when people even question me because I don't laugh at their jokes. Well, I tell y'all, sometimes people, trying to concentrate on work and concentrate on the job, that's just one of those times I don't really joke around that much. It's kind of a time I take really serious, and especially if it's like one of those jobs where somebody's paying me to do it, that's the kind of time when, I try to give a little fairness up to my employer, and one of those times when I'm just not as likely to be as joking around as I normally be. God uses us all in different places, mysterious ways, mysterious places, and there are times in our life when we just find out when things get a certain way in a certain place, it's probably not the place where we belong or the place where He wants us to be, and it can sure be a sign from God that it just might be a little bit of a time to move on to a different place, a different environment, different treatment, and then just kind of see how glorious and bright the little day is going to be with all we've got having in common and things, and seeing how this little brave little light is going to shine above us and shine below us. And oh, I tell y'all, like, oh, what a lot of light it comes down to, because I say that this is just little things in life where we harvest our dreams. And so got these little two statues of Mary where I've sort of gotten them a little shaved off in the back. Probably have a chance or two. I need to kind of get up all these little scraps and all these little shavings because they can be a little too messy sometimes. And we got to be careful having them around, or else they might catch a little fire. And sometimes I tell y'all, this butternut is really a sweet wood. It's kind of like a sweet walnut in a way. And I say that this is just little brighten lights and brighten days. And oh, I say that there's a lot to watch out for sometimes. Did see a little thing today. You've been keeping up with Sarah Listy's videos from Tool Girl's Garage. You probably know a good little thing today was that she got back in the shop. I told you all to pray for her a while back. She was kind of having back surgery and things like that. And, I can't really tell you all everything, but if you keep up with her updates, you know how something permanent has happened to part of her spine, so she won't be twisting and turning it the same way anymore or ever again. But that's kind of the thing where we're grateful for the fact that even with a brace on her back, she was able to get back in the shop today and get back to working and doing what she loves to do and getting all down to all the type of work she likes. I say that this is just a day when come on to say so much, and then there will be afternoons when I'll just kind of rest in the evenings, come on here to say a little thing or two. But I'll tell y'all, as of yesterday, I was kind of in McLeod's coffee house, and a lady who's made purchases from me in the past, she purchased an inside-out sewn stuffed pig from me before. She's bought a little golden retriever from me before that was carved out of a piece of 2x4 and dyed in yellow wood dye. And so she came by yesterday. She saw me there. She kind of said some things and told me that she noticed I'd lost weight. I told her I've had to fast and exercise a lot lately. Things had just changed so much in my life to where, it was just kind of getting to be a different bit of an adventure. Probably not able to eat out as much or do as much Starbucks as I used to, and for a lot of reasons, social reasons, what I can handle and what not in public places, but just coming down to what it is, being that, probably just not getting a lot of sugar, not getting a lot of carbs, not getting a lot of fat, things like that come in a lot of these restaurant foods and Starbucks and things is probably just the reason why. That, in addition to exercise, is probably how I've lost some. I do want to mention that we might come on and do another little video where we might carve out the back of Joseph's head too for a couple of things. But as for right now, I just want to kind of bring this video to a stop and tell you all that I thank you all for watching. Want you all to come back and watch again, and take care.